The thing goes skrrrra, pop, pop, tap, tap, tap. Skitty, kit, pop, pop. And the poop, poop, doo, boom. Skia, toot, toot, coot, coot, boom, boom. Boom, boom. Yo, God. The thing goes skrrrra.
Welcome to Fantasy and Chill Week 11. Coming to you live this week with video showing our faces this week. Joined by Britt Crawford.
What's good?
Ethan Hargrave, back from the dead.
What's up? Can't kill me.
And producer Matt.
Hey there. I'm here.
Yeah, I was going to say something else. I kind of forgot. So, producer Matt, that's all I got for you.
Got a little issue with the webcam, but
Yeah, Keller's
I see that.
going green.
Going disco, man.
It's all right. It's
Already.
better than nothing, I guess.
just
So,
turn it on and turn it off real quick.
you want me to do that?
Yeah.
Let's see.
About to have a seizure.
All right.
Now it's just me,
Yeah.
isn't it?
We'll just turn your webcam off. It'll just be me and Ethan for now.
Okay. I'm going to try one more time. And,
It's
Nope.
fine.
okay. Maybe it'll come back up.
Green screen.
All right, let's start off with our fantasy studs for week 10.
Fantasy Studs.
There it is. And Cam Newton is our first stud. This was vintage Cam Newton that we've been seeing for the last few years. He was 21 of 35 for 254 yards, 4 touchdowns. But the big difference this week was 5 rushes for 95 yards. And this is what you thought you were getting when you drafted Cam Newton this year. So love to see the rushing yards. What do y'all think?
They broke off a nice long run, I think, in the third quarter. I have a no Cam policy really on this show that I need to stick to. But let's not forget he was playing the Miami Dolphins. And but hey, fantasy numbers are fantasy numbers. Kudos, Mr. Newton.
Yeah, I'm still not fully bought in on Cam, but definitely a great performance.
I'll tell you a little funny stat, just because I'm not totally bought. I'm not buying what's being sold to me here on him. He's either had a passer rating below 88 or above 120 on all of his games. So that means that there's no consistency, and
So he's either amazing or he's fucking awful.
yeah, he's either yeah. He's either top notch or he's freaking Mia. So I don't really like that out of any of my players if I can afford it. If I've got another option, but if maybe he's getting things together and things are looking juicy for him the rest of the season. But I'll just stop right there.
I mean, they looked like a well-oiled machine last night. He was spreading it around to everybody. Funchess is a weapon. He's got in fact, his guys actually dropped a few of his passes too, but he's hitting McCaffrey out of the backfield. He's got Russell Shepard and, God, what's that number 10 guy's name?
Curtis Samuel.
Yeah.
Who's
The
out
one
for
who's
the
out.
season?
Yeah.
No, I didn't even notice that. I didn't watch the rest of the game.
The big thing is, too, they got Greg Olsen coming back soon. So
Yeah, that'll be good for him too because Ed Dixon is lighting it up too.
I think overall, rest of the season, I don't think he'll be dreadful. I don't think he's going to be putting up like 7 or 10 points for the rest of the games, but
He's definitely startable the rest of the year. Top 10 quarterback.
yeah, I mean, he's got Jets, Saints, Vikings, Packers, and Tampa Bay left. So I mean, maybe you're not playing him versus the Saints, I guess, or Minnesota, but the other 3 weeks you're definitely starting him. Number 5 ranked quarterback right now too, going into the bye.
not bad.
All right, our next quarterback is Kirk Cousins. 26 of 45 for 327 yards and 1 touchdown. But the killer here was the old 5 yards and 2 touchdowns rushing. And as I went up against Kirk Cousins, I didn't like that very much.
He's a little bit more athletic than people give him credit for, I think. But that game was really ugly for the first half for the Redskins. And in fact, if they didn't turn the ball over as much as they did, I think it would have went a little bit different. But Robert Kelly's nicked up. They're going to be relying on passing a little bit more, I think, from here on out.
Yeah, they're kind of slowly turning into Seattle's offense where it's all the quarterback having to distribute the ball. I mean, what's funny in that game, too, was Case Keenum had 25 fantasy points and Kirk Cousins had 29. I don't think anybody really saw that coming, both of them.
How about Case Keenum, dude?
Yeah, 4 touchdowns, man.
Seriously.
Yeah, he didn't make the studs list, but he was close. What a game from Case. Case.
I'm kind of a secret, I guess, fan of Case Keenum's. I always root for him when he's playing. Yeah, I mean, I can't help but root for the guy, right? He shouldn't even be playing in the NFL to a lot of people's standards, really. So to see him do good and see what he's doing this season with a good team.
Pick him up.
Hey,
yeah. What sucks though is people are still like questioning his job. Like Teddy Bridgewater's coming back, and they're like, "All right, get him out of there. Put Bridgewater in there." But Case, I mean, he's been pretty solid.
Yeah, I think you really got to stick. If you're the Vikings, you have to stick with Case Keenum right now. And
all it's going to take is one bad game, though, and I mean they're going to be calling for Bridgewater.
Yeah. When's the last time that Bridgewater's thrown in a game? You know.
Exactly.
So if I'm the coach, you got to think. No matter what, you got to stick with what's got you. You got to stick with the girl that you brought to the dance, right?
I mean, what if a way hotter girl walks in and wants to dance?
Yeah.
I got a funny story about that.
Let's hear it.
Nah. It's off. It's off camera. Off camera, man.
Okay.
I want to acknowledge Premisi7 in chat. You've said hi about 6 times, and I felt bad that I didn't say hi back, so hi.
What's up, Premisi? All right, our last stud, and this is 2 weeks in a row, him showing up on the QB stud list, and that is Jared Goff, 25 for 37, 355 yards, 3 more touchdowns, and we kind of all expected this because he got to play the Texans.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yes. Some people are still saying that he's not a viable starter headed into the rest of the season. I still think he's got good talent. He's got weapons around him. I like what he brings to the table. I like the skill set. I like how the offense is being run. You saw they didn't really do much in the first half. They came out, made some adjustments. Boom. See you later. You know, I like Goff, and hey, he did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, they're going at Minnesota this week. Are you playing him?
Hey, Minnesota's secondary is a little banged up, and I think that it could be a little bit like the Redskins put up numbers on them.
Kirky, yeah.
And so you got the highest. So the Rams have the best offense in the NFL. Their defense isn't too bad either, so they could put some stops on the Vikings offense, and I think it could lead to a little bit some good time possession for the Rams. They could pass on them.
Yeah, definitely a whirlwind from last year.
Oh, yeah, most def.
Do you have him cracking the top 10 moving forward?
Goff?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about a hell yeah, but
I think he's still outside my top 10. Old King Goffrey.
Well, right now he's at number 9. So
scoring?
In standard.
I mean, there's probably a couple guys behind him, though, that you figure will ramp it up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you got Matt Stafford, Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers. I mean, those guys could definitely.
If Mariota comes back and does anything.
Everybody you just named, I'd rather have Goff.
I don't know about that.
I like Goff. He's only had one game where he hasn't scored a touchdown so far, and that was against Seattle. So he's got a pretty solid floor.
It's true, but they go at Minnesota, New Orleans, at Arizona, Philadelphia, at Seattle. I mean, that's not the most favorable schedule coming up. Besides that, Arizona probably.
It doesn't scare me though. Like, I still think he's going to be putting up points.
Yeah, I think they can score on anybody.
I think people are just scared from that last year's. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Once bitten, twice shy.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to our stud running backs. First guy, Mark Ingram. 21 rushes for 131 yards and 3 touchdowns. And, man, that Saints running game is just absolutely scary. Alvin Kamara I don't have him on here, but he was pretty close to a stud, too. I think he had over 20 points.
I think I even overheard a stat that said the Saints ran the ball, or their offensive plays were 24 straight runs in that Buffalo Bills game.
That's called just skull fucking you, pretty much. I mean,
That's a two-headed monster
Yeah,
there.
I think I saw
Drew
that say
Brees
that on
is kind of
ESPN.
taking a back seat though in this offense.
I think I said this last week. They're a run first offense. Like they
Oh, for sure.
absolutely have their lines. They just control the lines so hard, and they have such talented backs. Why wouldn't you? You know, they're actually winning with decent defense. Drew Brees doesn't have to throw the fucking ball. You know, whenever you're getting almost 300 yards a game on the ground, why would you pass if you're not behind?
Yeah, they had 5 rushing touchdowns this game between 3 different people, 3
Yeah.
different running backs.
I think
I thought they had
I think
6.
running backs put up 66 points versus Buffalo's run defense.
Yeah, and Buffalo's run defense did not look good at all. I think Camaro was averaging like 15 yards a carry or something. They just couldn't stop him.
12 carries, 100 yards.
Dirty.
Okay, rest of the season, would you rather have Ingram or Kamara going forward?
I think it's a push.
Yeah, I mean, whichever, like one of them's going to go off because, like, even in this game, Kamara had 20 points, but Ingram had 32. Like, one of them's always going to outperform the other, but they both have a solid floor.
Yeah, even though I lost Zeke, it feels good. I have Kamara there.
Gun to your head, though. Which one?
Gun to my head, I'm taking Ingram.
He's taking Ingram. Too bad you did. Did you see that Twitter poll I posted? I'm sure
I voted it.
the Twitterless people didn't, but I put a Twitter poll up asking if you'd rather have Kamara or Hunt going forward, and I thought it was gonna be a pretty close voting
Kamara.
there, but it was 75% in Kamara's favor.
I think that's something I said last week or the week before that as well. Well, probably last week. Got laughed at, but Kamara is looking way better than Hunt.
To be fair, I voted for Hunt in the poll.
Yeah, I think I'm still taking Hunt from here on out just because he's the only back. I mean, Kamara's got Ingram to compete with. And, I mean, that game script worked out so well for the Saints. I mean, they're in more competitive games. They're not going to be able to run the ball that much.
You love that word, game script.
Doesn't every analyst on every network?
You're not an analyst and you're not on a network.
I'm on Fantasy and Chill, bro. Are you discrediting our podcast?
Nah, man, we are. We ain't got no label.
Shout out to the sponsors.
That's what they say. We ain't got no label.
Shout out to the sponsors. BW Grinding.
Yeah.
BW Grinding. We'll grind your shaft.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
All right, our next DeMarco Murray, 14 carries for 42 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also added 4 catches for 30 yards and a touchdown. So only 72 total yards, but the big thing here was 3 touchdowns. And I can't remember if it was last week or the week before where he didn't do anything and we thought that maybe this was Derrick Henry about to take it over. And DeMarco Murray came back with a vengeance this week.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of rando, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know who. Obviously, Murray is the guy to own, but, I mean, Henry could just go off whenever. So
I played Murray in a couple of my leagues only by default, just because I had to. And it turned out okay, obviously. But was I expecting this? Nope.
No, and I mean, where you drafted him, you're not getting the numbers you wanted, but I mean, he's still the 16th ranked running back, so he's still an RB2, pretty viable going forward.
Yeah, I think he's RB2 with a decent ceiling, But good game, Murray. And this is a side note: Vontaze Burfict got ejected from that game.
that was weak.
It was weak, but
those refs are out to get him, man.
I don't feel bad for that guy one bit, dude.
Well, no, but I mean, they bait him into everything.
Whatever.
Hey, and another thing to look forward to, Murray's got in weeks 15, 16, he's got San Francisco, the last ranked run defense, and then the Rams, who are 29th. So pretty juicy little playoff schedule there.
Nice.
All right, let's go to our wide receivers. And the first wide receiver, so I played Turpin this week. We already had Kirk Cousins show up on the list. But our 2 wide receiver fantasy studs are his 2 wide receivers. Funny how that works out. So first guy is Robert Woods, who got to play the Texans. That's the key here. 8 catches for 171 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the first one, that was the first one. Yeah, it was like a 95-yard pass. where they were
96.
backed up in their 96
96.
row end zone. And then the second one was a screen where just nobody attempted to tackle him, if I remember correctly.
Vintage Texans defense.
But, I mean, this is – what is this, 4 weeks in a row now where he's put up some good numbers? Scored 2 touchdowns in back-to-back weeks, too?
Yeah, the past 2 weeks he's got, 53 fantasy points in the last 2 weeks. I mean, his total fantasy output this season has been 91 fantasy points, and he's put up 52 in the last 2 weeks, which vaulted him all the way up to the number 6 wide receiver. So
that's the thing with wide receivers, man. You put together a couple good weeks, and you're a top 10 wide receiver.
And, I mean, the number 1 wide receiver this year is at 134 points. I mean, looking at running backs, Jesus, where would he rank? Number 6 running back right now. So it's definitely a running back year. We've already been over that, though.
So I played Woods in 3 of my leagues.
Nice.
Feels good, man. But
Do you feel good about him the rest of the season, or was this just kind of – I know he's looked good in the previous weeks, but was this more of a product of playing the Texans?
see, that's something I was actually going to ask you guys. How do we feel about Robert Woods heading?
Or was this because you had to start Robert Woods?
My wide receivers are a little lacking. They have been all season, especially since
Same
Jordy
with
Nelson turned
Turpin,
into
who
a
played.
ghost. But I got Juju and Woods right now that I threw in there in my main league, and it worked out okay. But how do we feel about Robert Woods?
My camera was working like a Juju a little bit, but fucking technology.
I think we've all seen you. No one wants to see that.
Woods.
Right.
Woods he's got to be the best wide receiver on the Rams that scores a ton of points. So,
Hey, another Sammy Watkins sighting.
There you go, baby. It's like a deer. You better get him when you see him.
He ain't gonna come back around.
I mean, personally, I think Robert. I mean, I think Matt said it. He's the best wide receiver option on the best offense in football. Why wouldn't you feel good about him?
But they also have one of the best running backs in football too, so that takes down his value a little bit.
Yeah, just like I said, this whole offense runs through Todd Gurley.
It does, but
I wish it would have happened last year when I drafted him 3rd overall, but
yeah, that's
feels bad, man.
feels bad.
Him and Mark Ingram. That was my 1st and 2nd pick.
Your team would be so dirty right now. But really, who saw Mark Ingram doing what he's doing right now? I mean, I think some people were picking him up in the later half of the draft.
It's not even that though. It's the whole Saints offense. Like they turned into a run first. That someone was saying that today. Like Minnesota's a pass first offense now, which I mean they've been predominantly a run first offense, and then the Saints have been a pass first offense, and now they're a run first offense. Yeah. It's just like the NFL is just fucking everybody this year. I feel like it's just a crap.
That's another thing. I was going to ask you guys. Does this not feel like the weirdest fantasy season in the wall?
I mean, just let's go over the top 6 wide receivers. Hopkins number 1. Okay, I get that. Antonio Brown, AJ Green. I also see that. Tyreek Hill, T.Y. Hilton's number 5, and then you go Robert Woods, Adam Thielen, Robbie Anderson to cap out 6, 7, and 8.
New blood.
What a year.
Wacky.
Speaking of Adam Thielen, this was Turpin's number 2 wide receiver this week.
30.
Adam Thielen, 8 catches for 166 yards and a touchdown. And, I mean, he's been a stud the entire year. He is definitely Minnesota, whoever's back there, whether it's Sam Bradford, Case Keenum. I think he's the favorite target over Diggs now, especially with Keenum back there. And I think he's a top 10 guy going forward with the volume that he gets.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's leading the league in receiving yards. I'm almost positive, which is pretty crazy.
Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
We got a real quick viewer question from Periscope. Well, right. Bobby asks, is Danny Woodhead worth picking up?
Yes, stash him. Put him on your bench.
I haven't really looked into his situation, but when is he supposed to be back?
He might be back this weekend, but they're going to make a ruling on it, I think, either tomorrow or the day after.
Yeah, he's probably worth picking up just because, I mean, he's so dangerous out of that passing game, and he'll go right ahead to Joe Flacco's favorite target right away. So
he could just take over that Buck Allen role, and then Buck Allen might just be sent back to the doghouse where he started off at.
Yeah, they always want Buck Allen in the doghouse.
He also gets injured about every game that he plays, so
Yeah, he's scared the hell out of me. Me personally, I don't like high risk guys like that, but it couldn't hurt to put him on your bench. But if I got him, I ain't starting him right away.
He's definitely a guy worth taking a flyer if you can afford to drop one of your bench guys. So,
and plus, if you pick him up, no one else can.
Exactly.
It's true.
All right, I lied. I actually have one more stud wide receiver, and he played last night. Devin Funchess, 5 catches for 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. And with Kelvin Benjamin gone, we were hoping that he would step up and be that number 1 guy, and I think that he is. He looked damn good out there last night.
Yeah. As long as Cam keeps doing Cam stuff, good Cam stuff, I think Funchess is going to be just fine, man. It's kind of weird because we've had this one guy in the league that me and Britt are in. He's been playing Funchess all year, so I didn't see it at first, and then he kind of started coming around the later half of the quarter, and now he's really starting to come around. So I think going forward, it's very viable.
He is. Yeah, but I also feel like when Olsen comes back, he's going to take some of those targets away from Funchess.
I was going to bring up Olsen for y'all. He should be back soon.
There just aren't any other wide receivers, though.
Who else is he got to throw to? Curtis Samuel's hurt. I guess you get 22 coming out of the backfield every now and then. But, even with Olsen coming back, the Baker isn't there anymore. He's in Buffalo. So,
the Baker, was that a nickname?
That's just what that's.
Never heard of it.
That's what I call it. That's just what I call Kelvin Benjamin. He just reminds me of a baker. He might as well be a baker.
Okay.
He said it like 5 times last week, so
yeah,
I just kind of went with it.
You'd be better off with a baker out there and a white out, but
a baker.
Well, speaking of wide receivers, we have another question from Bobby in chat. He's asking, Bobby Boucher. He's asking about Amari Cooper rest of the season. How do you feel about him?
We are actually going to get to Amari Cooper here in a second, talking about trade deadline targets. But I am a fan of Amari Cooper the rest of the season. He's high on my list.
Stay tuned in a little bit when we get to trade deadline.
You'll
know more. That's a tease right there.
He's got some pretty favorable matchups coming up as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was all of our fantasy studs for Week 10. So with the trade deadline coming up, I don't know when it is exactly in your league, but I know for our league, the trade deadline is tomorrow. And I am targeting QBs as we speak. But we're going to start off. I wrote down a few players kind of to target for each position. These are guys that haven't performed like people would expect them to perform this year. So maybe this last 5 or 6 games, they'll kick it up a notch and they have favorable schedules. So I'm going to go ahead and start it off with our QBs to target. My first one on the list is the number 11 quarterback. That is Drew Brees. Now, he is on a high-powered offense, as you can see, but he, like we said earlier, he's not being asked to do very much. He scored over 20 points like once or twice. That's it. Something like that. But his schedule for weeks 13 through 16, which is our playoff schedule, I don't know if that's yours, but 13 through 16, he's got the Panthers at home, at the Falcons, the Jets at home, and then the Falcons at home. So that's a very favorable playoff schedule. And I look for him to just probably be consistent, pushing close to 20 each of those weeks.
I'm not a believer in him. Not that because he's a bad quarterback, just because, as we talked before, they're just going run first. And it seems like even in the red zone, they just want to pound the ball in the red zone, getting them.
You don't think teams will start stacking the box, though, and open up the field for them?
I don't think they can.
I think they've already been doing that.
I don't think they can. They're putting 8 in the box against them at Buffalo, and they weren't doing shit.
Yeah, Buffalo just looked gassed against them. I think there's better trade targets out there besides Breeze. I think Breeze is going to require you to give up more than you should, just because name value, as you've already found out, Ryan.
Yeah, I've tried for weeks now to get him from a guy in our league, and he still wants a grade A talent for a second-tier quarterback, third-tier quarterback. So Keep in mind that on all these trade targets, I don't have any of the top guys because obviously we're just assuming that if you have a top guy, you're not trading him. So
I think I'd rather trade for Phillip Rivers over him just because it might be cheaper and he has just an easy schedule.
Okay, well, my next name to target on this QB list is the 15th ranked quarterback, and that is Matt Ryan, who has put up huge numbers in the past, just like Drew Brees. His playoff schedule is home with the Vikings, home with the Saints. Then he goes at Tampa Bay and then at New Orleans. So I know that those Vikings and New Orleans defenses are pretty tough, but usually when you get those Falcons-Saints games, we have high scoring, and that's 3 indoor games there and then at Tampa Bay. And so you always like indoor games with Matt Ryan, and he's another guy you could probably get hopefully on the cheap. Now, I know he is a big name, so like we talked about Drew Brees, might not work, but I think you get him pretty cheap right now.
I'm not sure how I feel about Matt Ryan this year.
I mean, he's thrown 2 touchdowns the past 3 games, so but he hasn't scored over 20 fantasy points this entire season.
It's kind of disappointing. I was in a weird spot in one of my drafts and I almost took him kind of early. I'm glad I didn't. Look, turned out pretty decent so far. But yeah, I mean, I think he actually did go pretty early in my main draft. Somebody actually took him, and it hasn't panned out. Needless to say, they're not doing too good. But yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like moving forward. I think they're going to be kind of forced to pass the ball a little bit more, or I feel like they're starting to incorporate passing into their game a little bit more than they were. I don't know what Sarkisian's doing with the offense, really. And that whole thing's just a mess, man. You know, it really is.
Yeah, I just figured going forward they have to throw the ball more than they have been. And I figured him to – I mean, he's got to get going because he has been – I mean, 15th ranked quarterback for a guy that finished – what was he? He was a top 3 or 5 fantasy quarterback last year, right? Yeah, he was the MVP last year.
And this guy – yeah, Kyle Shanahan and the Falcons miss each other right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Matt, anything to add on Matt Ryan?
Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the old Periscope over here.
Okay.
I don't know. I was away for a second, but I did see they do play Tampa Bay twice down the stretch, who might be one of the worst pass defenses in the league. So I think it's a good trade target. Might be. Actually, they are one of the worst pass defenses in the league.
I'll be worried about. I'll be worried about them going up against the Saints when they do, because the Saints are not.
Recent history shows that Saints Falcons is going to be high scoring. So I'm just. Yeah. I know this is a different Saints team than we're used to seeing, but I still think those will be some high scoring games.
History it's a little bit different than this ain't your daddy's Saints, all right?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know, Matt Ryan, he's going at Seattle, but then if the Falcons are going to make a run, they have a 3-game homestand, Tampa Bay, Minnesota, and New Orleans. I mean, he's got to come with it those 3 weeks.
Okay, my last quarterback to target. This is kind of – okay, go for it. No, go.
I forgot we had one more quarterback, but while we're still on quarterbacks, Bobby's wondering if Derek Carr is a good quarterback to target for trades.
Yeah, I think Oakland is going to get it going, and we're kind of going to talk about that a little bit when we talk about Cooper. But I am a believer in Oakland offense moving forward, so I'd say Derek Carr probably be a good guy to have, and there are definitely worse options.
Yes, and they play the next 3 games, New England, Denver, Giants, all at home in Oakland. And that's the 30th ranked pass defense, 17th, and 32nd. So Derek Carr might be a very good target to go after.
Last quarterback, big name here, not having a typical Ben Roethlisberger season. He is the QB 21, so this is a deep dive here. But his playoff matchups, that's QB 21. His playoff matchups, his first 2 weeks of the playoffs, he goes at Cincinnati and home to Baltimore. So not like awesome matchups. But if you are in your championship game, his 2 defenses he plays in 15 and 16 are home versus the Patriots and then at the Houston Texans.
Oh.
The thing with Big Ben, though, like, I feel like this is a normal season for him. He's just like, even last season, he was like probably a top 10 quarterback, but he had like 2 games in a row where he threw 5 touchdowns for like, he had like 38 fantasy points and like 35, which like skewed his numbers. Like, this is Big Ben. We just haven't seen those like 2, bombshell games of him yet.
Well, when he plays the Texans, you might.
Yeah.
That is true. Jared Goff looked like fucking Joe Montana.
He would actually almost be worth getting just for that game.
Just for the championship.
I'm not even joking.
Well, yeah, but at that point,
Tom Brady. Nah, I'm starting Big Ben.
You're guaranteed 25 points. Guaranteed.
He has yet to score 20. I don't know if y'all saw that, but
That's
I do
gonna
agree.
change.
Those matchups are tasty.
Tasty.
They are, but like, how much is Pittsburgh going to be playing for at that point in the season?
I'm saying Big Roethlisberger, he's probably a free agent in your league, to be honest. He's owned in our league by someone that doesn't make very many moves. I'll keep it at that. But I'm saying if someone does own him, you could get him for just about nothing, or at least you should be able to.
I think he's been heavily streamed in at least 2 of my leagues. So
They must have been disappointed then.
yeah, actually, I had him. I played him a couple of times at the beginning of the year, and I was very disappointed.
All right, y'all got any more quarterbacks y'all are targeting or thinking about for the trade deadline before we move on to running backs?
Yeah, no.
All righty. All right, let's look at trade deadline targets for running back. First one is running back number 27. Just got picked up by a new team. That is Jay Ajayi. And I think the longer he is in Philadelphia, the more he gets acclimated to that offense. I think he'll return to kind of that peak Miami Jay Ajayi and put up some big numbers. So he's a guy I would look to target moving forward.
I still think, though, you're going to, like, he's still got that big name. I think he was a 2nd-round draft pick in most drafts this year. Like, you still got LeGarrette Blount there. You've still got Corey Clement. Like, it's kind of turning into that Patriots backfield with so many running backs. Like, they're going to divvy up the workload.
We've only seen him there for 1 week. I'm saying they had the bye week now. I think he's going to get the majority of carries moving forward.
Well, no, that's true. But Philadelphia this year is, I mean, even on wide receivers, like they have Jeffrey, Aguilar, Ertz. They spread the ball around. They don't just feed one guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're a very diverse offense.
I don't think it's going to be like a Zeke kind of a deal or a Bill kind of a deal
exactly.
where they just feed the monster and just off you go. But I definitely can see him getting 13, 15 quality carries a game and some goal line touches. In fact, I think LeGarrette Blount is just obsolete in that offense now, isn't he?
I think he's still going to eat a couple of carries, which is
probably still some goal line work too.
They're probably going to be Jay Ajayi's carries too. There's not going to be any of the pass catching backs.
The thing with Ajayi, though, is what I'm saying. Like, you're going to have to offer up someone big to get him. That's the thing. Like, I mean, I
heard those offers that y'all were offering Turpin, and y'all weren't offering anybody big for him.
That's what I'm saying. His value is just so low right now. Like, I mean, he obviously didn't bite on any of those trades.
He got close.
I mean, I have Devontae Freeman. I wouldn't trade him for Jay Ajayi right now.
Matt made a good call because I think he was close to trading him Kamara for him. So,
how about Tevin Coleman?
Yeah,
that's true.
Would you go Tevin Coleman right now?
No, not right now with Freeman out.
I think I would trade Tevin Coleman.
With Freeman out. If you had Freeman and Tevin Coleman I did.
That's only for 1 week.
That's true. Would you trade Lamar Miller for Jay Ajayi?
Yes.
Yeah.
You would. Okay. Is the 13th ranked running back?
Have you watched the Texans lately?
Yeah. Well, I guess it'd be the other way around. No one's gonna give up Jay Ajayi for Lamar Miller. Like, what's a decent trade target? That's all I'm asking.
Would you trade?
It would have to be probably some kind of package.
Ajayi? See, I wouldn't do Carlos Hyde for Jay Ajayi.
I probably would.
Carlos Hyde's not that bad, man.
9th ranked running back.
It's not bad.
I'm saying we're going on what I think Jay Ajayi is going to be going forward with the Eagles.
What do you think he's going to be?
I think he's going to be a top 12 running back play.
He's on the second best offense. Yeah.
Matt, write that down. Keller, top 12 running back, Jay Ajayi.
From week 11 on.
From week 11 on, I need you to write that down.
Top 12. Put it on the board.
I think he'll be kind of hard to pry away from people, though, just because what you said earlier, people spend a lot of draft capital on him.
Exactly. You're
like
not going to be able to get him for cheap right now.
Late first round, early second round in most drafts, which, some people will already cut their losses by now. And he's off the greener pastures, obviously. And
that's what I'm saying.
He just ripped one off for what, like 70-something yards, first touchdown of the season. And what do you know? It's he just so happens to be a part of some new scenery. It's gonna be a lot for you to prime away from somebody, I think.
And like, if I drafted JJ in the second round, which is where he went, it was a godsend that he got traded to Philadelphia for me, and now it's his time to redeem himself. Like, I'm definitely not trading him if I have him now.
Ryan, we have a question that could be directed to you, since you have so much input, or you could have so much input on it.
Who are you talking to?
You.
Oh.
Did I say your name? I don't even know if I said it.
No, you can't just say you, though.
You boy.
We have a question for you, Ryan.
Let's go.
Will Fournette get his form back this week against the Browns, and why did he sit a lot last game? If
he doesn't get his fucking form back, then I'm going to go to Jacksonville myself and take a goddamn picture of him. For my picture. Yeah, he'll get it going. I didn't get to watch the game. I had some stuff I had to do Sunday, but I kept uploading the fantasy cast like every 5 minutes. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why does he have 2 points? Why does he have 3 points? And I kept checking the carries. It's like, well, Chris Ivory's not getting any carries. What are they doing? Didn't Blake Bortles throw it like 40 times?
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason they decided to throw it a lot this game.
Yeah, I think they threw it like 11 plays in a row or something like that.
And it was a close game, right? I mean, they won in overtime by a field goal. Why were they not feeding Fournette the ball? Maybe they were just still kind of punishing him a little bit. I don't know.
That's kind of a stupid way to punish him. The whole team?
Not necessarily punishing him. He had 17 carries. It's just he only had 33 yards rushing and 2 catches for 13 yards. Like, he just wasn't doing anything with the ball.
No, it could have been a personal thing.
To answer the question, no, I'm not worried about Fournette going forward. I think he'll get it back. Britt, you're also a Fournette owner. You feel the same way?
Yeah, I mean, he's a workhorse. He's going to get the ball.
All right, our next running back trade target is currently running back 31, but in the last 4 weeks, he's kind of taken back over that starting role. And in the last 4 weeks, he's averaging 10.6 points per game, which is pretty good. And that is Dion Lewis. So would you target Dion Lewis even though he is a Patriot running back?
No, because, I mean, in his past 3 games, I think James White has almost outscored him or pretty close. And then with Rex Burkhead coming back, it's just a crapshoot there.
Yeah, and I love Dion Lewis. I think he's fantastic.
I do too.
I honestly think on 30, well, maybe not 31, but probably like 20 other NFL teams he'd be starting, probably.
I mean, he is starting.
And let me
in theory,
he'd be featured, like the feature back.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It all comes down to the red zone. Like, who's getting the touches down there? You know what I'm saying? Like,
you just don't know.
Rex Burkhead, James White, and Dion Lewis. Like, you don't know if it's going to be like that every week.
I mean, obviously,
and Dion Lewis had a return touchdown.
He had that.
Gillislee.
He was a healthy scratch.
Healthy scratch, bro.
Yeah.
So
those 3 touchdowns. He
but
got
just like Gillislee Rose, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can fall just as fast with Bill Belichick. Like,
yeah, but Dion Lewis has always been there. He is the running back. James White's the pass catcher. Rex Burkhead's the wild card.
Yeah. I think that you might be able to pry Dion Lewis for somebody, and there might be a little bit of value there. But I'm not giving the world up for him or anything.
Hey, I've got him, and I've been trying to dump him, and it's not working.
I mean, what are you asking for, though?
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees?
Killer.
Don't laugh. Drew Brees is not a stud.
I know, but you're trading for the name, like you said earlier.
Yeah, well, some people got to realize that if you draft Drew Brees in the 4th round and you don't play him all season, and the trade deadline's tomorrow,
some people, why don't you just say his name already?
Keegan, what the fuck are you doing? Jesus.
Shout out. Keegan had a pretty good year this year. So
yeah, he's having a good year, but what are you doing, man?
Can I add
Anyways,
one guy to this trade targets for running backs?
Go for it.
All right, he needs his intro song first.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
The Crow.
No.
The Crow.
No.
Look, if you've seen his schedule, it's fucking easy. Like this
It is
the word.
favorable. Besides this week.
Yeah, well, this week is a little shaky, but after this, like his schedule is easy. And Britt, I'm gonna throw out your word here. Game script is gonna be in his favor each week. Like,
It's not my word, but
Game flow.
if you want to say it, then go ahead.
no, he's playing a bunch of teams that don't score a lot, so you know he's gonna be getting most of the
Exactly,
touches.
yes, I like that. Yeah, Jacksonville and Cincinnati. I hear you, Matt. I'm with you
2
on that.
games in a row with a touchdown.
It's true. I'm telling you, I'm with you, Matt, on this call.
Thank you.
Ain't feeling it. Ain't buying it. Don't want it.
He's been getting
Okay, Matt.
15,
Thank
at
you.
least 15 touches each game.
No, thank you.
Matt, you own him, so if I came to you trying to trade, get him from you, what would you be looking for?
Well, considering he's on my bench, like he's a bench player for me right now.
You're never going to start him.
I realize that, but I like the depth just in case one of my running backs goes down. But I don't know, offer me something.
No, I don't want him.
Well, I'm saying hypothetically, offer me something.
Hypothetically.
Deal or no deal?
I'll give you the Browns defense for Crowell.
You're just not a believer.
No, I'm not.
I think I'm allowed not to believe since he was a part of my team for the first quarter of the season plus, and he gave me a total of 13 fantasy points in 4 weeks. Yeah, I think I'm allowed to give some input on this. After I drafted him in the 4th fucking round. Yeah.
Would you trade Amari Cooper for Isaiah Crowell?
I would hold on to Cooper.
You'd hold on to Cooper?
I would.
Yeah.
If you're trading Cooper, I like Cooper the rest of the season too. So I think.
What about Demaryius Thomas for Crowell? Would you do that one?
I'd keep Thomas.
Yeah.
Really?
Keep naming names because.
We have another
Yeah.
question. Is Alfred Morris worth trying to get in a trade?
I wouldn't give up much.
I mean, I think if you're in that position, if Rod Smith is available, I'd pick him up. I'm a Rod Smith believer, and he's probably on your waivers right now. So
What was the carry breakdown on Sunday for that?
I think Rod Smith outsnapped Alfred Morris like 35-21. I'm not sure, Matt. Can you check on that for me?
Let's see.
Roger.
Morris had 11 carries, and that's it.
And Rod Smith had 3 carries. And
Oh no,
4
I said
receptions.
outsnapped. Like he was on the field a lot more. And in that game script, like Dallas was down. Like
Bingo.
they're gonna have to pass the ball.
Drink.
Game
We're gonna start
script.
Drinking game script.
Game flow.
Yeah,
you
I just
and
had to-
Turpin. Here's the deal about the game script.
Here's
fucking-
the deal.
Be fucking drunk after that game. Well,
Sorry,
you don't
I
think that's
tried
funny, Britt? No response?
It was all right.
Okay.
What's up, fantasy nerd? In chat, sorry. I'm not calling you all fantasy nerds.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, we can.
Are
move
we
on
still
to
talking
wide
about
receivers
running
then.
backs, or are we going?
No,
to
I had to throw out Crowell for a second just because I think he's starting
I like
to come
it,
on his own. He's been getting
schedule's
15
favorable.
touches every game, and his schedule is favorable.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, wide receivers a target. The first guy I have written down is the 17th ranked wide receiver, but he's gotten hot lately. He's now the number 1 guy on his offense, and that is Devin Funchess. So would you be looking to target him, although it probably would be pretty tough now to probably acquire him?
Yeah, I think you'd be paying a little bit more now than you would have last
This
week.
was probably the time, maybe get him 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going into a bye, and this is the playoff push right now, so you might be able to snake him for a little bit.
So if he's on like the 4th, 5th, or 6th place team in your league that's trying to make the playoffs, and they have to have someone to play this week, maybe you can get him.
True, but I think I would honestly have Robbie Anderson over Devin Funchess for a trade.
Ooh. Yeah, but Robbie Anderson's the number 7 ranked wide receiver now. I don't think anybody's trading him.
number 8. I mean, he's got 90 points. He's only outscored Funchess by 6. So it's very close in that, like, I think from the number 8th ranked wide receiver to the 30th ranked wide receiver, it's only about a 15-point differential.
Total crapshoot.
Yes, wide receivers.
Total crapshoot.
Even Antonio Brown, man, just, what, 3 touchdowns this year so far?
Yeah. I think Juju's actually got as many touchdowns as Brown does now.
Juju on that beat. Juju on that beat.
Julio Jones too, man. Like this year, he's upside down.
What is Julio's rank? He's got to be outside the top 20.
Someone call Hopper because we're in the upside down.
Ayo.
No Stranger Things fans. All right, I'm gonna take this moment to go grab a Bud Light, sponsored by Bud Light.
While we have a break, while you're grabbing a Bud Light, we have a YouTube question from Fantasy Nerd.
What's up, Fantasy Nerd?
This week, Juju or Devontae Parker?
Who
Devontae
are they
Parker going against
playing?
Tampa Bay. Juju is going against Tennessee. Both not very good.
Gun to my head, give me Juju.
Juju on a Thursday, too.
Gun to my head, go Devontae Parker. Start him over Juju.
I don't see why y'all are such big believers in him. Y'all like him a lot, and I just don't see it.
I'm on the Juju train, man.
Nope. Miami's playing at home this weekend versus Tampa Bay, the 29th ranked defense versus wide receivers.
Okay.
Start Parker.
The matchup does sound rather tasty. Not gonna lie.
Juju's got a good one too, but I'm telling you, I'm a Devontae Parker truther. Like this dude's got skills.
Okay, this is where we're gonna have to agree to disagree. I just think Juju's the better player on the better team.
Yes, but I think Pittsburgh moves with Le'Veon Bell. And, I mean, this past game was a little off script as well. I mean, who saw the Colts leading them half the damn game? So, yeah, off script? Is that okay?
Script?
I was it was close.
He also did it against the Lions, which the defense isn't too bad over there. They actually have 2 of the top-rated corners, top 20 corners in football. So, and actually a guy who plays when he plays the slot is the number 5 cornerback. So,
Fantasy Nerd played Devontae Parker over Juju.
Fantasy Nerd
Bobby enjoyed your Stranger Things reference, Britt. So you have one fan.
Ooh, nice.
We understood the reference. It just wasn't good.
It just came from Britt. So.
What do you mean? How was it? Okay, never mind. I don't hear y'all's reference.
Go get your beer. Let's move on.
I mean, what's Hopper going to do in the upside down? If anything, you want to take 11 with you. I mean, come on, Britt. Gosh.
No spoilers.
God. What a terrible joke.
That wasn't a joke. That was a truth.
Did you guys like the second season without spoiling it?
Yes, I thought it was just as good, if not better, than the first one.
I think I almost feel like there was almost too much going on, but I thought
they wrapped it up nicely, though. So
yeah, it all came together real well.
Fan of the second season without giving away anything. Yes, big fan.
Yeah, huge Stranger Things honks over here at Fantasy and Chill.
I wonder if any of them play fantasy football.
Oh, I bet.
So about Demaryius Thomas.
Are we talking about Demaryius Thomas?
What are we talking about?
We're about to.
All right.
That's not Demaryius Thomas. You read the notes wrong.
Oh, sorry. I wrote Thomas down. I meant Michael Thomas.
The second wide receiver target I have is wide receiver number 22. Now, this is a guy I think – now, we are going to run into some difficulties because like Ajayi, he was a high draft pick. But as wide receiver 22, Michael Thomas – as I am a fan of Drew Brees going forward, I think Michael Thomas is also a guy to own going forward. And maybe you can get him away from his owner who's a little upset with just not what he expected he would get out of him.
I think out of everybody that we talked about so far, this might be the most reasonable thing, actually. Because if somebody did draft him, they drafted him in the second round. Yeah. Maybe in the high second round. And they haven't been getting too much production, but you just know, like, he's going to put up numbers, and he has a possibility of hitting touchdowns. He's on a good offense, so I think if you're going to trade for somebody, I think you could coax somebody out of a Michael Thomas guy.
Yep.
Another wide receiver, Michael Thomas. I mean, I can. Speaking of Michael Thomas right now, before I ask the question, like we've been talking about with all Saints players, they've just been trying to run the ball so much that you kind of worry if Michael Thomas is going to get the catches he deserves. And we said the same thing about Drew Brees. So he's a good wide receiver on a team that likes to run the ball right now. So it's tough.
Yeah.
He's still playing decent. He's just not getting the touchdowns. I mean, he's had 10 targets in the last 3 out of the last 4 weeks. I mean, 7 catches, 8 catches, 9 catches. I mean, he's getting targets.
He gets a lot of third down looks. I think the Saints are one of the best third down conversion teams in the NFL this season, and he's a part of that. So, I mean, he's freakish enough to possibly turn that into something big too.
Hey, if they weren't first on third downs, they are now after playing the Bills.
Oh, good God.
If they even got to third down.
Yeah, this first, second. Watch
this transition real quick. You ready? Speaking of Saints wide receivers, we have a question about Willie Snead against the Skins this week.
Ooh.
How do you feel about him?
Hold on one second. This question is brought to you by Bud Light.
Brick, we might have to pay for that, so hope you're going to fork over the dough for that.
You mean they'll pay us for that?
I don't know about that.
Willie Snead, how do I feel about him?
No.
What has he done anything?
No,
leave him alone.
I mean, if you're asking about Willie Snead, you got to be in at least a 14-man league at this point. I don't want any part of him. There's so much better that you can get on the waiver wire, and unless your entire league's just hoarding,
I'd rather have Ted Ginn than
the Bruce Ellingtons of the world or something. I don't.
Okay, so he has 1 catch for 11 yards on the season.
Yeah, great.
How did he have -2 points the other week?
Fumble.
Probably on a field screen.
He didn't catch but he didn't catch a pass.
On jet sweep, maybe.
Yeah, maybe some sort of.
I think it was jet sweep. Yeah.
It also says 0 rushes though.
Hey, don't sleep on Bruce Ellington though. This week he might.
Did he fumble a punt or kick return? Maybe.
Who cares? Why are we talking about Willie Snead?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how he has -2 points with 0 catches or 0 rushing attempts.
Who cares? On to the next one. Let's go, Keller.
Next.
Look, I didn't bring up Willie Snead, so don't get on me for that. That was whoever asked that question. Come on, that's a clown question.
Don't come at my boy Bobby like that, right?
It's a clown question, Bobby.
He could be in a deep league.
Come on, Bobby.
Don't play Willie Snead. Main idea of that conversation.
Don't even roster Willie Snead. What are we talking about?
Don't even say his name again. All right, last wide receiver to target
this week.
Yeah, probably. This is the guy we've been waiting for. Our number 31 wide receiver looks to have a big last few games, and that is Amari Cooper. Do you finally go after Amari Cooper? Try to get him. That was a question.
Maybe. I don't know. It's still tough to see there in Oakland.
So I can speak on this we're still talking trade targets, right? Yeah. Sorry, I've been looking at my notes a lot. But
you've been trying to get him, right?
I wasn't trying. I had a deal set up to get him, and it was for Adrian Peterson straight up. And it was then I started working the trade block a little more.
Wait, you chose Keenan Allen over Amari Cooper?
I did.
Ooh, I don't know if I would have done that. I think I would have gone with
Cooper. I would have gone with Cooper too.
Really? Well, I trust. See,
just because of his schedule.
No, I like Cooper, and I like his quarterback. He's getting a lot of targets. I needed a solid floor guy because I was tired of rolling out T.Y. Hilton and the boomer bust, and that's what Amari Cooper's pretty much been this year is boomer bust. And Keenan Allen will get you
He's the ultimate boomer bust.
Right, yeah.
He had under 1 point 3 weeks in a row, and then 3 points, and then 37.
And also, I was doing some game theory here. I didn't want to trade what I thought was a good running back to a guy that I was gonna be matched up, trying to fight for the playoffs for. So that was another part of it. But I do like Cooper going forward.
Yeah, and I mean, another guy going forward you could target is because probably most Mike Evans owners aren't that happy with him right now. He could be a big guy going. He was suspended last week, but he could be a big part going forward.
He was a first-round pick, though.
That's true. I mean, him, Julio Jones, Jordy Nelson's because of Aaron Rodgers.
That's why I didn't. That's why I didn't include. I thought about Mike Evans and Julio Jones, but I didn't include them just because I don't think you're prying those guys away from their owners. They've ridden with them this long.
That is true.
I'm just gonna bring back Amari Cooper up real quick, just because I wanted to prove a point.
All right, let's go.
Past 3 weeks, we'll go 4 weeks. He's gotten 6 targets, 19 targets, 10 targets, 9 targets. Like that,
what's your point?
When I'm looking for a wide receiver, I'm looking for a target. Like I don't want a guy that's getting 1 target and he catches it for like 50 yards and a touchdown, and that's his entire day. I want a player that's going to be getting a lot of targets the entire game. Yeah, that's what you're getting with Amari Cooper.
Yeah, but what's your point? Because we were arguing for Cooper.
Oh, I guess. Well, we have some people in chat that aren't for Cooper.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, I see your point there, but you still have Crabtree in that offense. I mean, in my opinion, Crabtree is the number 1, Cooper's the number 2. So,
no way.
I mean, in fantasy, he is
right now. But Cooper's the guy you want going forward. I feel over Crabtree.
I think I'd rather have Crabtree than Cooper.
Put it on the board. Rest of the season.
Nah, we got to start from now, though. I get a 20-point head start.
What?
So don't put it on the board, is what you're saying.
Hey, speaking of put it on the board bets, y'all had 2 bets this last week. How'd those go?
What were those? Did you write those down, Matt?
I mean, I just don't forget my bets. McCarthy. Oh, shit, I just leaked my last name. But we'll say McCarthy always pays his debts. And
what were the bets?
The bet was I thought McCown was going to do better than Eli this week.
How'd that one turn out?
Bad, but it's not like Eli went off either, so
17 points, you might as well have.
I mean, okay, I owe you the beer, all right?
Then what was the other one?
That was the only bet.
No, there was
we had
another
one more.
It was fuck. It was another
we got to start writing these down.
It was another Jet. It was Robbie Anderson or
Deshaun,
Curse?
maybe?
No, it was Robbie Anderson versus another wide receiver. Damn it.
We'll have to go
Curse?
back. We'll figure it out later.
No, it wasn't Curse. Yeah, we'll figure it out later. But that's
Let's
what
continue.
Matt was taking Robbie Anderson because I was like, oh, you're high on the Jets this week. You got your 2 Jets.
I think I was just pointing out that I like.
It was Robbie Anderson versus Deshaun Jackson, I think, because remember that was our toss-up.
No, I think it was Anderson versus Robert Woods. I think I had Robert Woods.
Oh, yeah. That's what it was.
Shut up, bro.
You're right.
All right. How about
Robert
this
Woods,
week
my
11?
boy, since day one, man. I've been a true believer. Where'd he go to college? Like,
Always been a Robert Woods fan.
who gives a fuck university?
You mean WGAFU?
Yeah, I got my business degree from there.
All right, let's go to Week 11 outlook. So first, let's start off with our teams on bye this week. This is the last week for NFL buys. So after this, you don't have to worry about buys anymore. And we have the Panthers, who got a few guys you might be playing. The Colts, who you're probably only playing T.Y. Hilton maybe. Got the Jets, a couple wide receivers, maybe Robbie Anderson, maybe McCown. And then
another disappointment, though, Bilal Powell. Like, I thought he was going to have a great day. I was even looking for him on waivers, and I'm glad I didn't get to pick him up because what a bust.
Last team on bye, 49ers. So Panthers, Colts, Jets, 49ers. Not much out there as far as fantasy output that you're losing.
Mostly Panthers.
Mostly Panthers, and then I'd say Carlos Hyde would be your next guy.
Yeah. So, not missing much.
Not CJ Beathard?
Beathard almost made the stud list this week. He was right there. Good week for Beathard.
Garoppolo gets in this offense. Hey, you better watch out.
You know, while we're talking about the 49ers, I got to give Matt credit on his call with, what's his name, Garrett Selleck? That's first name?
Yes. What do you mean, what is his name? You my hero?
Last week, Matt said if you need to pick up Garrett Selleck, he will score a touchdown because the Giants have given up a touchdown to tight ends every week, and he scored a touchdown. So great call, Matt.
It was one of, I might have nailed one call out of about 10 so far, but hey, I'll take it.
I'm going to give Matt props on this, but then I'm going to take him away because I heard that on every other fantasy podcast I listened to.
Well, I only listen to one other fantasy podcast, and they didn't bring up that one. And the only one I listen to is Fantasy and Chill because I'm not.
Yeah, I only listen to Fantasy and Chill, and they said it. So,
just giving you a hard time, Matt. Sorry.
I'll mute you right now. This is. I'm producing this podcast. I can take you out of it just as easily.
You're not my mom.
Go to bed.
All right, let's go to one thing to look for this week is the Falcons running back situation. So Devontae Freeman is doubtful. Doesn't look like he's going to play. I think he got a concussion, right? Wasn't that it?
Yeah, he apparently once he got hit, he was not even all there. Stumbled around a little bit, got taken off to the sidelines, and never came back to the game. And Adam Schefter already said he wasn't going to be playing this weekend.
So
which is a Monday night game.
Tevin Coleman, although it is against Seattle defense, Tevin Coleman is a guy that you have to start this week. Value goes way up without Freeman back there.
Yeah, I'm a big Tevin Coleman guy. I think if he was playing for any other team, he'd be the featured back. So start him.
Okay, our other running back situation. This was a little bit more tricky, but we have the Packers. So Aaron Jones is most likely out not only this Sunday, but for a few weeks.
Yeah, he's 3 to 6 weeks.
Ty Montgomery is questionable with a rib injury. So if both of them don't play, Jamal Williams had 20 carries on Sunday after Ty Montgomery came out of the game, and his value would just skyrocket this week if he was the lone guy back there.
Yeah. I can't really trust any running back in that Green Bay offense now with Brett Hundley. It's just kind of tough. But if you're in a pinch, pick him up. He's going to get touches. He might be able to do something with them.
Ethan, you there? Anybody?
I don't think he's there, actually. I think we're having some problems.
Technical difficulties.
He's been yelling in his mic for the past few minutes now.
I mean, Baltimore has the 22nd ranked run defense versus running backs. I mean, Jamal Williams was supposed to be the guy to take over if something did happen to Ty Montgomery. He was actually drafted higher than Aaron Jones, but he's going to get touches. If you're in a pinch, pick him up, start him, but only for this week and just, I guess, pray.
Yeah.
Well, here's another guy, too. Samaje Perine will be the featured back for Washington. Who would you rather have, Perine or Williams?
Who are the Redskins playing?
Redskins are playing at New Orleans, the 8th ranked run defense versus running backs.
I think I'd rather have – oh, man.
Perine hadn't done anything with his touches either, but it's just – golly. I mean, at least Kirk Cousins, the quarterback there, you know they're going to be able to move the ball at least a little bit. They're playing in the Dome at New Orleans. I heard the weather – I think they're playing Baltimore in Baltimore. I think it's supposed to be some pretty bad weather.
Well, that bodes well for running back stuff.
Well, the reason – I'll tell you, I'm picking up Perine because breaking news alert, I don't know if y'all already heard it, probably have, but Robert Kelly is on the IR, so you know you're going to get more weeks out of Perine than Jamal Williams.
True, but I mean, the 2 weeks that Perine was the featured back, he had 21 carries, 67 yards, and then 19 carries, 49 yards. Just hasn't been able to do anything with him, and they still have Chris Thompson there. So,
can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hey, look at that! Look at that, guys! I'm a genius. Yeah.
Welcome back.
I think I told you this last week. I wanted no part of Robert Kelly. Just for this very reason, he looked like he came up lame a couple of games ago before that the 2 touchdowns showing that he had
14 carries, 18 yards.
Yeah, Whew. Set the world on fire.
I remember that stat line because I was playing against him.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, Chris Thompson. Out of the backs in the backfield, I would want Chris Thompson right now, really. And in Washington, I want Perine. He had a decent game against the 49ers, but who hasn't? That's just no. I mean, Chris Thompson is actually, I think, number 10 still. I mean, yeah, sure, a lot of his points came at the beginning of the season, but he has the ability to. He kind of reminds me of Tyreek Hill a little bit. So, give the boy the ball, give him some space.
All right, Ethan, before we move forward, any thoughts on the last 10 minutes that we talked about when you couldn't talk?
Man, I was so frustrated with what was happening that I wasn't even listening to you guys.
Oh,
Sorry.
It's understandable. We have a
All right.
real quick.
Oh wait,
real
we got a
quick.
question.
Deal or no deal?
Deal or no deal? We have a question in chat. Should he trade Evan Ingram, Tevin Coleman, and Deshaun Jackson for Adam Thielen? He says overpay, underpay? Question mark. It's a PPR.
No, I think he's overpaying if he's offering those three.
But he's probably never going to play all of them. If he's only playing one of them at a time, then definitely do it because you're getting the best guy out of the deal in Thielen.
Yeah, I like Thielen a lot.
I think Tevin Coleman's only going to be good this week, and then once Freeman comes back, he's just going to go back into that same role. Maybe get a couple more carries, but like they said, you're getting the best guy out of that, and if you're not going to play him,
I'm always for whoever wins a trade is the guy that gets the best player. So
yeah, but Coleman is still the 17th ranked running back, even with Freeman in the lineup. Like,
I actually flexed Coleman in.
What were the other two guys he was offering? Coleman,
Ingram,
Deshaun Jackson,
Ingram, Evan Ingram, and
oh no,
Deshaun
I'm not.
Jackson.
Evan Ingram's a stud. Evan Ingram and Tevin Coleman, I would not give up for Adam Thielen. Just those two.
It's PPR, man.
We would have to see the rest of his team, but
I'm not doing that.
The best player out of all that is probably Thielen.
No doubt it's Thielen.
Ingram's a 4th ranked tight end right now. I mean, I know it's not saying a whole lot, but he has 14, 12, 13, and 9 his past 4 weeks, all with a touchdown. And I mean, going forward, him and Sterling Shepard, that's all Eli Manning has to throw to.
Yeah,
Ingram's a beast.
I say do that trade. He just said he has Kelsey as his tight end, so Ingram you can.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, give him up.
Give him up.
Drop your fork if you're eating dinner. Push that shit through. Let's go.
I mean, if you're offering that, though, I feel like you might be able to get someone maybe a little better, like maybe a Mike Evans or Julio Jones, someone a little bit lower right now with that top upside. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I'd be thrilled to have Thielen.
He has, but I'm just not like a full believer there.
Especially since he gets yards, touchdowns. And
I still think Diggs is the number 1 there. Like
he's putting
as
up
far
these
as
numbers with Case Keenum throwing in the ball. I mean,
hey, does that say about Case or Thielen? You know what I'm saying?
Case had a perfect passer rating going into the 3rd quarter.
Pick him up, play him.
Pick him up.
You went to U of H, Matt. You know Case. There you go.
I've drank many beers with him and had sex with many women with him.
With him?
What?
Both of those are
all
true.
Right.
Eskimo brother? Is that you?
All right. So about this waiver wire.
What, Britt?
Do we have any more running backs on the waiver wire slate?
We haven't even started the waiver wire slate.
Oh, we were talking about trade targets. I'm sorry.
Waiver claims. So that brings us, waiver claims. There it is. You ruined it, but
there we go. That's what people want to hear. I'm sorry just for trying to push what people want to hear. People want to join this and know who they need to pick up, who's going to get them to the playoffs.
Yeah, we're getting there. We always do.
Who's going to get them that coveted fantasy football championship?
So on the waiver wire, the first guy we just talked about, probably going to be the starter this week, but Jamal Williams had 20 carries and had 74 total yards last week. So would you feel comfortable having to start him in a flex position this week?
Only in a pinch.
Only in a pinch.
I'd say there are worse options. I'm not blowing a number 1 waiver. I mean, I don't really like what he's shown me so far. Maybe it's just jitters or something, or he's just too damn rough. I'm not a big fan.
No, I mean, even in my league, I'm starting Amir Abdullah and Alex Collins over Jamal Williams if I could get him. I know it's not pretty. I got McCaffrey out and Freeman hurt, so it's down to the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, Abdullah's rough.
All right, now this whole list of running back waiver wire guys are just – I mean, we got some quality guys on here, I feel like. Next guy, Austin Eckler, had 115 total yards and 2 touchdowns. What's the deal with the Chargers?
For me, going forward, he's just a handcuff to Melvin Gordon, to be honest.
I think that's a good assessment.
If you have Melvin Gordon, pick him up, use a waiver claim on him. Even if you have a high waiver claim or how much cash you have left, get Austin Eckler. If you have Melvin Gordon, it'll pay off.
He's not a handcuff. We've kind of been over this.
I don't know if y'all did y'all watch the game.
Eckler's he's featured in the offense. That's not a handcuff. Will be like Brandon Oliver.
No, Eckler is the number 2 running back on the depth chart.
I know, but that's not what a handcuff necessarily is.
A handcuff is if Melvin Gordon goes down, who is his workload going to go to? And it's Austin Eckler.
I don't know if he would get all the rushing touches. I think Brandon Oliver would get some of them.
Oh, well, you don't know. I know it will go to Eckler.
Whoa.
I think Eckler's like that. They can both catch the ball, but I think he's more of that pass catching back too.
He is, but 10 carries for 42 yards. Not too shabby.
Yeah, that's
how many yards per carry is that, Brett?
4.2?
Whoa.
Ding, ding, ding.
You stupid.
No, you're right. But did y'all watch the game though? I don't know if y'all saw towards the end. Towards the end, well, this might be like one of the worst games in like the last 5 minutes I've ever seen. Because towards the end, all the Chargers had to do was run the ball out, and Eckler fumbled it.
Oh, yeah.
Which might hurt his value going forward. I mean, I don't know if they'll trust him after that. And
so why was he in there instead of Gordon?
Who
I
knows?
mean, Gordon doubled him in snaps, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, Gordon had 21 touches for 42 yards, so.
Yeah, not exactly great, but.
What is that average?
Half.
Sorry, the answer we were looking for was 2.
Hey! Almost like.
Oh, no! We suck again!
All right, next guy, we've already talked about him. Oh, wait, you still have some thoughts on Eckler?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Eckler Schmeckler.
Well, we've already talked about it, but Deion Lewis had 55 total yards and 2 touchdowns. One of them was a punt return touchdown, or was it a kickoff or punt? It was a kickoff, wasn't it?
Kickoff. Beautiful, too. It was a beauty. Just a little wiggle, a little waggle, and.
Like I said, I like him going forward just because I think he's the guy to own in that backfield. And if he's available, I think it's worth a pickup.
I'm telling you, I think I said this earlier. He's a James White injury away from just taking that whole rollover, basically. Yeah, with a little bit of Burkhead in there somewhere, but
Well, true, but then they'll just bring Gillislee back, and I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's never. Don't trust New England running backs.
True.
Has he been on the waiver wire segment like the past 5 weeks?
Yes,
now?
he has.
No, only like the past 2.
Okay, well,
he's just so talented, man.
He is. I mean, if he was a featured back in another offense, you know.
I just like watching him play, dude. I love watching him play. But
we've already talked. Like, I'm not feeling confident at all starting him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If you're trying to win a playoff game, I just don't see how you can start him. It'd be tough, but if that's your only option, then
he's just going to take up a spot on your bench. Like, unless you're in a pinch, you're never going to start him.
All right, next guy. He had 92 yards and a touchdown. Now, most of that was on a long touchdown run, but Kenyon Drake.
Yeah.
Do you think he's the guy to own over Damian Williams?
He's obviously way more explosive, but from what I understand, he has a little bit of problems with pass pro. So Williams actually gets the nod in that respect. So I think that's why he didn't get as many snaps, I guess, as he probably could have. It was all because of, as Britt would say, the game flow.
Is that what he says?
I'm sorry, game script.
Game script.
There it is.
Sorry.
Yeah, if he's still available in your league, but in most competitive leagues, he's already been snatched up. But if he's available, pick him up.
Yeah, I got him on the bench.
I'm not sure they're own him over Williams because Williams isn't going to do anything for you. He might get the more like touches or snap count, I guess, but Drake is going to be one that busts off the long ones and gets you more points.
He looks he just looks like a way better runner, all around.
All right, next we have Latavius Murray. He had 68 total yards and a touchdown, and he actually got 16 carries to Jerick McNinnan's 10 carries. McKinnon. So he out-carried him 16-10, and this is just different than what we've seen these past few weeks. So, I mean, who's the guy to own there, Murray or McKinnon?
This is kind of like the running back version of the 2016 Oakland Raiders wide receiver core. Is it, where it was Cooper or Crabtree week by week? It is now McKinnon or what's his face? I lost my train of thought. Latavius Murray. Yeah, see, but yeah, I almost picked him up, and I was like, nah, I'm just not feeling it, man. Not feeling it. I mean, if he's there, I think he's a 331 guy. I just feel like he's a 331 guy.
Yeah, he's been getting a lot of touches the past. I think he's averages 15 carries the past like 4 games. So he's getting a lot of carries, but I'm worried that once the game script starts going against him, starts going against him, that McKinnon's going to be getting more snaps, and the next 2 weeks they're playing the Rams and Detroit, who can both score points. So I'm going to be kind of worried that he might just get phased out in that aspect. He might be like the Matt Asiata on steroids.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's a good assessment.
All right, next guy, Rex Burkhead, 63 total yards and a touchdown. Now it's another New England running back. So how do we feel about Burkhead?
Not as good as I feel about Lewis, which isn't very good when you boil it down.
How would you rank? I don't know if that was necessary. But how would you rank? How would you rank Burkhead, White, and Lewis?
I mean, they're all just, I don't know. They're just all a shit sandwich.
In reverse order.
And even in fantasy points rankings, Deion Lewis has 62, James White has 62, Gillislee has 58, and then Burkhead has 38, but only playing, I think, like 6 games or 5 games. The New England offense, just stay away from it, in my opinion.
You didn't answer the question.
They're all tied for 4th for me.
4th?
Oh, my bad. I threw Gillislee there.
Gillislee
New England's a passing offense. Let's get that straight.
Breaking news. New England's a passing offense.
Dun, 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 dun.
Water is
I'm just
wet.
saying, do yourself a favor. Stay away from it. You're going to end up like me 2 years ago and needing LeGarrette Blount to get you something.
What if you're in a 16-team league, Britt?
If you're in a 16-team league, pick them all 4 up.
Pick them all 4.
Okay, so now you're in the 16-team league. You have all 4 of them. Who do you start?
None of them.
You have to.
I'm staying away from them.
You're just dodging this question. You're trying to help out the fantasy and chillers out there, and you're not helping.
I
at
am.
all.
They don't know it though.
Someone somewhere needs you to answer this question.
I mean, in my opinion, Deion Lewis has the safest floor, but I think Rex Burkhead has the highest upside.
Really?
In my opinion.
I'd go Lewis.
I like Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis.
I mean, Lewis is only, I mean, Lewis has outscored James White by 0.1 this season, which is pretty hard to believe, but it's just, you never know with Bill Belichick. He's going to take advantage of matchups, and you'll never know week to week.
I don't think Deion Lewis started really into the mix till later in this.
Yeah, he was hurt.
So, I mean, I think Deion Lewis is a Lamar Miller plus. That's not too bad.
The thing with Deion Lewis is he's getting touchdowns, I guess. He's gotten 3 touchdowns this year compared to James White's 2. So, yeah, I guess give Deion Lewis the advantage.
There you go. You heard it here first.
All right, Fantasy Nerd's been out there working the trading block, and he comes back with another trade. He says Ingram and Mixon for Baldwin. I say do it.
Like Evan Ingram?
Evan Ingram, yeah.
Okay.
I say go do the Thielen trade.
Oh, Ryan likes the Thielen trade better. I like the Baldwin trade.
Yeah, I think I'd do the Baldwin trade.
Yeah, I don't know if you can go wrong with either one.
Matt, you got a hard on for Baldwin, though.
I do. I can't trust a white wide receiver.
Whoa, man.
What?
Oh.
Racist. I'm with Matt on that one.
No, but Just had to throw that out there. I think you're getting the better deal on either trade.
I'd say you do either one of them if they were your only option, but if you have the two options, I'd pick the Thielen trade.
Yeah,
See, I'd take the Baldwin.
All right, flip a coin.
Either one I would do though. So, all right, next guy. I thought he was kind of dead for the season, but he comes back with 17 carries for 110 yards, and he looked pretty good last night. And that was Jonathan Stewart. What do we think about him?
Not too much.
Yeah, going into a bye week, I'm not really concerned about him.
What about after the bye week?
We'll tune in next week and we'll tell you.
Well, maybe he won't be available next week because people are picking him up this week. Yeah,
I'm surprised he's even on like that low owned for him to be even available to pick up. Just because.
Yeah.
What did McCaffrey have, like 7 yards rushing this week? McCaffrey isn't a running back, if that makes any sense.
No, he's not. But he's that little, he's basically the little dump off that the Panthers wanted for Cam Newton. So Cam Newton wouldn't run the ball and get hurt. But Cam Newton's still running the ball, and then they're just kind of divvying it up either way. But McCaffrey's outscored Jonathan Stewart 93 points to 57 this year so far. I mean, Jonathan Stewart's the better runner, don't get me wrong. But in that offense, McCaffrey's the guy to go to.
All right, last guy on the list.
Worth a pick up though. Just.
Oh, definitely worth it.
Yeah, he's definitely worth to stash him on your bench.
I think it's a good flex,
especially if something ever happens to McCaffrey.
I mean, after that negative 2-point game, though, a lot of people dumped him off. I see his plus or minus changing minus 10% in ESPN Standard League. So a lot of people were off that train last week.
Yeah. All right, last guy is Matt Breida. Is it? I say this every week, but is it Breida or Britta?
Britta Filter.
Britta?
Wait, last guy. I got 2 more guys to pick up.
Whoa.
Okay, well then after I talk about him, you can tell me. Got it?
Breida.
Not Breida. 58 total yards and a touchdown. I think he had 9 carries. And, I mean, he's slowly been eating into Carlos Hyde's workload. So, I think they like him.
Yeah, but Carlos Hyde still had 17 carries for 100 yards. You got a touchdown on there.
49ers were just a machine this week.
I mean, Carlos Hyde's still the 9th-ranked running back. People forget that. He scored 112 fantasy points this year compared to Breida's 46. So, to me, Breida's a handcuff to Carlos Hyde.
All season you've heard, Matt Breida this. He's getting increased carries. His role is going to increase, and each week you just see Carlos Hyde go out there.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Points,
just shut him down every single week.
Yeah, that sounds like Pete Carroll's deal. This guy is gonna get the load,
Oh, he'll get the load.
Yes, he's getting the full load. Seattle running back.
Rise to the top, oh
Yeah. Nice. On point. But yeah, I mean, until I see it, I ain't gonna believe it. You ain't got to lie to me, Craig. You ain't got to lie.
He's just one of those guys, if you have a spot open, I guess just stash him with not the hopes that Hyde get hurt, but if he does get hurt, that you have him on your bench.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he's on the 49ers. So
who would you rather have, though? Would you rather have him or would you rather have Marlon Mack?
Mack.
They're about the same.
Probably Breida.
They're both shitty, and you're not starting them.
Well, I don't think Marlon Mack's shitty, but
you're not starting him though.
They don't play him though.
He's been getting more touches.
All right, Britt, who are your other running backs?
You didn't mention Samaje Perine.
We already talked about him.
Well, no, I know, but this is the waiver segment, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Samaje Perine, if he's available, he'll be a starting running back going forward because Rob Kelly's hurt. And then the other guy was Rod Smith. I think he will eventually take over the Dallas Cowboys running back role while Zeke is out over Alfred Morris.
Just as an aside, Zeke has a possibility of coming back in 4 weeks. Well, 3 now. So just throwing that out there.
Old Zeke, as the Zeke turns.
It's just, yeah, God bless. I wrote like a 3-page essay to Zeke. I think I feel like the only way I can get closure is if I go to some campfire and burn it. Or
Hey,
something.
why don't you? I don't want to hear all 3 pages. No one.
Nah,
wants to.
man.
But how about you read a little excerpt for us?
Nah. I don't know if I can do that. It's a little deep. It gets to my soul.
Nothing. Not even a little taste.
I mean, I already have his picture pulled up for you. Just a little taste.
Come on, man. The people want it.
Okay. All right. Okay. I took you in the second round of my big money league.
Try not interrupting him, Matt. Come on, man.
Hey, wait, hold on. Rod Smith outsnapped Alfred Morris 36-22 this past week as well. That was another stat I was going for. I had to find it though. All right, go on, Ethan. I'm sorry.
All right, sorry for that. No, all right, we're starting over and go.
I took you in the second round of my big money league. Everyone thought I was crazy. But after Hurricane Harvey forced me into 400-plus mock drafts to pass the time, I realized you were my guy. I mastercrafted a draft around you. I knew you weren't going to serve any time because Reddit said so. I just knew it. But I had to get through. If I had to get through 6 weeks, I could if I absolutely had to. Even when Jordy turned into a ghost after Rodgers went down and Crow put up 13 total points in 4 weeks, I never flinched because there you were, leading me to victory. But now you're gone. Now you're gone. we got some wins. And a law degree along the way. But now you're gone. I just had to stop.
My cheeks are burning because I'm laughing so hard.
I'm sitting here like writing this shit. I'm like, damn, I don't even think I've written my wife a letter like this before.
Nikki's leaning in saying, I don't even hear that in our vows, Ethan. Come on, man.
Damn, yeah. That silver anniversary is coming up too, boy. Whew.
That's good stuff, Ethan. Good stuff.
Yeah, that was real cathartic, man. I feel better.
I wish it would have rhymed, but you know what?
Yeah, well, when going for it was poetic, but it wasn't a poem, right?
Oh man, I'm crying a little bit. Oh, that was good. All right, let's move on to our waiver wire wide receivers, and once again, if he is still available, pick him up now. Robert Woods. I think he's still – what was it? God, I looked it up earlier. If you have Robert Woods pulled up, what's his percent ownage?
He is not available in any of the leagues I'm playing in right now.
He's still only owned in 61.4% of all leagues. So if you're in that 40% of the leagues that he has not owned, he is #1 waiver claim. Use it. Get him.
Robbie Anderson, pick him up.
Pick him up.
Yeah, Robbie Anderson is finally up to I think close to 80, so I didn't include him. But Robert Woods, for some reason, is still at 61%. He will be up to 90% this week, guaranteed.
Yeah, after he got a third of his fantasy points this season in 1 week.
All right. He's like we talked about earlier, he's still the best wide receiver. We were talking about Sammy Watkins versus Cooper Kupp at the beginning of the season, and we had no clue that Robert Woods was going to take over.
Sliding right in, man.
Guess who took a commanding lead in that bet this week? Sammy Watkins.
My boy.
But my boy in the bet.
Wait, did you say commanding?
Yeah, man.
Do you know their point totals?
Yeah, what is it?
Sammy Watkins has 64.2. Cooper Kupp has 59.7.
Geez, 5 points out of 60 to 50. That's pretty commanding right there.
Actually, for the math teacher, that is less than 5 points.
I said about 5 points.
Oh, no, you said 5.
For wide receivers this year, that is a commanding lead.
Mm-hmm.
If the game script,
Okay, that didn't make sense in this context.
Here's the deal.
I was just throwing it in so I could drink.
Here's the
Look,
deal.
Here's the deal. Robert Woods is the number one guy. Sammy Watkins and Cooper Kupp are shit.
They're just fighting over the toast or leavings.
Hey, here's the deal, though. I'm going to give a rare shout out to Turpin. His team actually showed up this week. I have no clue how he scored 134 points, but well, actually, I do know how. He got lucky, started Robert Woods and Adam Thielen. So
he's on a 5-win streak. I think he told me earlier. Yeah,
he had a tie in there.
Nah, he's won twice. He's had a tie in there, but I think he's won 4 out of the last 5 with a tie. So yeah, he's definitely bounced back.
Yeah, big season. Won last week, scoring 62. So
Muddy Mayo, he's got to change his fucking name.
Turpin doesn't deserve this much time on Fantasy and Chill, so let's continue to Chester Rogers.
Ooh, a little salty there. Sounds like.
Just trying to keep the time on track. We're at 1:30.
There we go.
Okay.
I got to do some dishes, so let's tie this up.
All right, next guy. Came out of nowhere, Chester Rogers for the Colts, 104 yards and a touchdown. We read into that anything or just a flash in the pan?
Flash.
Flash in the pan? Is that even a saying?
Yes.
Where have you been, man?
Hiding.
Never heard of it.
It's a better saying than anything you ever say.
Flash in the pan.
Flash in the pan, yes.
Yes, he's a flash in the pan. Agreed.
All right.
Yes.
Marquise Goodwin, 101 yards and a touchdown.
I mean, the number one wide receiver, 49ers. Pick him up.
The thing I like about him
options
is he did only have one catch for 83 yards, but he's getting that deep chance every game. And if he catches it, he's going to basically win you the game probably.
Yeah, what's crazy, too, is I heard, it's kind of sad, but him and his wife lost a baby. It was a premature birth, I think, hours before the game. And then he comes out and has an 80-yard touchdown bomb. Pretty cool story.
At 4 o'clock in the morning.
Emotional after it. So
at 4 o'clock in the morning, they lose their child. He goes out there and he plays, catches that bomb. And if there was no context behind, if nobody had any context behind his TD celebration, they're just like, well, dude, good job. Get up. What's the big deal? But after you realize, what he went through 12 hours prior or whatever, it totally makes sense. And I ain't gonna lie, dude, I got a little teared up whenever I found that out. I went back and watched it, and it's a totally different meaning. So I really feel for the guy as a parent, and man, I can only imagine. I don't think I could do that, but yeah, sad, tragic.
all right, next guy, Brandon LaFell, 95 yards and a touchdown.
Brandon LaFell, he's still around kicking.
He's making an appearance.
Oh, man. No, man. No.
No.
Flash in the pan?
His time is coming.
Flash
gone.
in the pants.
He had his moment in the sun with New England, and he burnt that bridge. He blew it, and I think he got a little bit too big for his britches or something. But with that said, no thanks.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Next.
All right. Everybody's favorite waiver target, Marquise Lee, 55 yards and a touchdown. He's doing it every week now.
Ooh, baby. Even with D.D. Westbrook coming back?
Yeah, I still think Lee's the guy.
At some point, you got to pick this guy up. He's been on the waiver list every single week for us.
Especially if Hearns is out too, right? Isn't he hurt?
He's out for the season, I think.
Oh, man. That's pretty crazy, him limping off the field knowing that they didn't have a timeout left.
Oh, God.
Oh, did he get hurt this week? I might have just made that up that he's out for the season.
No, yeah, I think he just got hurt this week.
That's Allen
It
Robinson.
says he's doubtful, though.
No, I knew that, but I thought, never mind. We're good.
Yeah, I think that there are worse options. 331.
He's got a decent floor. It's not crazy high, but he's
Bortles' favorite target.
Yeah, but for some reason Bortles. I just can't trust him. Yeah,
I think you could flex him, get away with it.
Yeah, if you're in a pinch, flex him.
I wrote down he hasn't had above 83 yards this season. That was his highest yards.
I mean, if they get down big and the game script fits it, then
game script drink.
Yeah, it's all about the game script.
Game scripts.
Next.
Dontrell Inman, 6 catches for 88 yards for the Chargers. Isn't he still on the Chargers?
No, he's on the
Bears.
Bears.
He's on the Bears.
He used to be on the Chargers.
He is far.
He
I
did.
think he's far and away the most talented receiver on the Bears, and that's not really saying much. But
That's what's crazy. Like you're gonna draft this rookie quarterback, and then you're gonna give him no weapons to throw to. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy coming out, 6 catches, 88 yards in his first game with the Bears. Like, just give this dude someone to throw to so we can see if he's good or not.
They did throw a lot this game. I'm still not picking up any Bears besides Jordan Howard if he's on your waiver wire, and he's not. So don't pick up any Bears.
Yeah, what sucks is, I mean, they had Kevin White and Cameron Meredith, who look pretty promising. Both of them on the IR. I think their leading receiver is Kendall Wright this year, so not good.
Zach Miller, who almost lost a leg, too.
yeah, poor guy.
True.
All right, last guy. Kenny Stills. He had 67 yards this week, and I mean, he's been pretty solid every week, getting in that 50 to 70 yard range.
I felt better about him whenever Parker was out, but he's okay. Definitely.
Yeah, if Matt Moore comes back in, then pick him up. But other than that, leave him on the waivers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just slim pickings right now.
It's like he turned into the Jarvis Landry of last year. He's just getting that like 60 yards, but no touchdowns really.
Unless Matt Moore's in the game.
Yeah.
And there's a love connection.
All right, anybody else y'all are looking out on the waiver wire? I think we got just about everybody.
Slim pickings right now.
He might be taken in most leagues. I think he's 60% owned ESPN, but Jeremy Maclin might be a guy to look forward.
Yeah. Another good wide receiver on a bad team.
Yeah, I mean, just a number one guy. You know what I'm saying? Someone who doesn't have to compete for a lot of targets. He will get most of them.
Yo, throwing a deep flyer here. In time for your playoff push, maybe a little miracle working. Maybe it's not too early to pick up Josh Gordon.
Oh, Josh Gordon. Someone's been watching
Josh
the
Gordon,
Reddits.
the Garden.
Someone's been looking at the Reddits.
Hey, Josh. Yeah, I think he's got some talent. Too bad he's on a shitty team. Otherwise, I think he'd be an instant plug and play. But
and I mean,
we see what he can do with with just as bad quarterbacks. So
that's true. But another guy coming back also is Corey Coleman. I think can be back this week or maybe next week. So they might be getting both of those guys back pretty quick. And I mean, Corey Coleman, the only game he was healthy in, 5 catches, 53 yards, and a touchdown with Kaiser.
Yeah.
So
I think Coleman's obviously a safer bet.
But Gordon he's a beast when he's been in
there.
there. So.
He's a freak, dude. He really is, and God bless him. He's in the program. He's clean, very well spoken guy. I didn't realize how well spoken he was. But I saw an interview with him. I was very surprised. No,
if he was putting those numbers up, fucked up though, imagine what he could do sober. You know what I'm saying?
What if he's better fucked up?
Well, then relapse.
Nah,
It's like the spinach to his Popeye.
being sober is way more fun. Well,
All right,
better
I'm
anyways.
gonna ask a couple questions. We can go through them real quick. They're just social media questions we had before the stream that I want to get through because I promised I would ask them.
The what?
How do y'all feel about Will Fuller going forward?
With his 5 cracked ribs, not so good.
Not good. Bruce Ellington is sneaky, deep leagues this week. Maybe pick him up and start him.
Maybe.
He had a touchdown this back week, didn't he?
Will Fuller is done.
He did.
Yeah, I think they're gonna shelf him for the rest of the season. Get him all primed up and ready for.
Not throw the deep ball to him, so his value is gone.
They're gonna get him ready for the return of Deshaun Watson, aka the baby goat.
I'll tell you a little secret. Don't play Will Fuller until Deshaun Watson is playing, okay?
There you go. All right, next question.
Might not even be a secret. Next question. Sorry, Matt.
Next question. You watch fantasy football or shit. I just plugged another podcast. Fuck. All right, non-PPR, who would you pick up, Jamal Williams or Kenyon Drake?
Do you need him this week?
I don't have that information.
I'm going to say Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake.
Season, Kenyon Drake.
I like what I see out of Drake much more, just from a talent perspective.
All right, we'll go to the next question. It is a pick 2 for this week. We have DeMarco Murray at Pittsburgh, Marshawn Lynch versus New England or Jamal Williams versus Baltimore. Pick 2.
DeMarco Murray and Lynch.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with those two also.
Yeah, let's roll with that.
All right. There you go.
That's
all I have. Yep.
All right, so I think this was pretty successful, although I'm pretty upset that my video didn't work. What the fuck?
Oh, here, I have another question for my own personal benefit.
Go for it.
Okay, so I got to pick 2 wide receivers and then a flex. My wide receivers are Larry Fitzgerald, Jarvis Landry, Demaryius Thomas, and Alshon Jeffrey. Fitzgerald's playing at Houston. Pretty favorable matchup. Jarvis Landry's playing Tampa Bay. Favorable matchup. Demaryius Thomas is playing at Cincinnati at home, and then Jeffrey's at Dallas. So which 2 wide receivers would you go out of that?
I'd say play Fitzgerald and Jeffrey and put Landry in your flex.
Landry in my flex over. I have Marshawn Lynch and Tevin Coleman.
Who are your starting running backs? Oh, yeah.
Le'Veon Bell and Fournette. So I'm not going to fuck with them.
So basically it comes down to Coleman, Lynch, or Jeffrey. Or no, Landry.
Or Jarvis Landry, yeah. If I'm going to – man, I kind of want to start Landry over Jeffrey, but –
I think Fitzgerald, you got to throw him in there just because of the matchup purely. We know how that's going to go.
True. I got Fitzgerald in there.
Okay, and I think it's kind of a push. Well, man, the Landry matchup might not be that bad. I think it's kind of a push between him and Lynch.
Who, Tevin Coleman and Lynch?
Yeah, that's what you read my mind, yeah.
And then I leave Jeffrey and Thomas on the bench, or I start Jeffrey over Landry.
I would play Jeffrey over Landry.
Yeah. Tevin Coleman, you go Fitzgerald, Jeffrey, and then you play Coleman in the flex.
All right, that's what I got. Don't you fuck me, Fantasy and Chill analysts.
But we love you. We ain't gonna fuck you. We're gonna make love to you.
Jesus.
All right. On that note, I think that's about it. Pretty successful tonight. Thanks to Bobby and Fantasy Nerd, was it?
Nerd, yes.
Is that who it was?
Fantasy Nerd.
Some questions. Keep them coming.
Bobby.
Tune in next week.
Questions. Follow us at Fantasy and Chill, Instagram and Twitter.
At Fantasy and Chill. And subscribe to our at Fantasy and Chill YouTube. We will be coming to you live every Tuesday night around 7 Central. That's 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, 6 Mountain Time. So look for us next week, and we will try to answer some more of your questions, get you ready for that playoff push. We out of here.
Rack 'em.
Jello Beats, holla at me.
You stupid. You stupid. What's 9 plus 10? 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 You stupid. You stupid. You stupid. You stupid. You stupid.